Graham, good to see you again. Congratulations again on last night's win and performance. First and foremost, just how have you come through that bodies-wise?
There's a few bumps and bruises today. We've obviously got the boys in today to regenerate, get ready for the weekend, and the medical room was a little bit busy this morning. But because it's the morning after the night before, you're going to get that if you compete at the right level. So we'll assess the lads again on Friday and see who's ready to go and fight again, because we're going to have to make sure we're in a position physically to recreate the effort that we put in. Without a shadow of a doubt, we can't come off that in any way, shape or form.
Are there any significant concerns to come from those that you've alluded to there, maybe?
No, not particularly. I think if I'm just going through the players in my mind, really, I think it's the usual sort of stuff. There's no one came off sort of injured or anything like that. So any changes we made were pretty much tactical or on a physical level because of the schedule that we've got under, and we've still got another 2 games in the next week. So there's no major concerns, but because it is only one night, I just want to give it another 24 hours, 48 hours before we sort of have a clearer picture, because sometimes things settle down quite quickly, but nothing major, to be fair.
How are spirits then after the win on Saturday and the way that you did it away at Wrexham, backed up by, as we said last night, an emphatic performance?
Yeah, look, yes, you can feel it, you can hear it. My office is 10 yards away from the canteen, so when I'm working away, I can hear the laughing, the joking, the banter, all that sort of stuff, and everyone's involved, and everyone walks past my office when they come in, so I can hear the sort of upbeat nature of everything. So that's good. But it's not been like zombie land or anything like that in the last couple of weeks either. Lads are quite good at getting around each other and being positive, but you always notice just a little step up when everyone's smiling, and rightly so. If you're not going to enjoy football and your life when you have really good results as we have in the last 2 games, and if that can't put a smile on your face, then you're probably in the wrong game.
What was so good, do you feel now in reflection, about the performance last night that led to the 4-0 win?
I think the discipline that the players showed, the focus in what we wanted to do out of possession, and then what we wanted to do when we turned the ball over, and when we had our moments to attack them where they were potentially vulnerable. That's what pleased me most. I thought we did that really well and really efficiently. The effort from the players was superb all the way through. Our game management was good. So when we did get the 2 goals in the second half in quick succession, I felt reasonably secure that we were going to, and I know it's easy to say that at 4, but I wanted a clean sheet as well. I wanted the team to want the clean sheet, and I felt after it, they still had moments, and they are a good team, but I never felt any sustained pressure on our goal, which is credit to the players. They had a pride about their job, and wanted to finish it through in the best way possible. So we didn't want to win 4-2. We wanted to win 4-0, and that's. From my perspective as the manager, looking at the players taking on board that responsibility and that sort of motivation is really rewarding and gives me great confidence.
I wanted to ask you specifically about one of the 2 changes that you made last night in Clark as well. Obviously got on the score sheet, but played a part in all 4 of the goals in some capacity. How pleasing was it to see him, I guess, take that chance that you've given him in the starting 11?
Yeah, I think Clark. We know what Clark's capable of. As I said last night, I think I sat him down maybe because I left him out of the squad. I can't remember what game it was. Maybe 10 days ago, 2 weeks ago. He wasn't on the bench because I was quite clear. I thought he was going through the motions, and that's not enough for us. If you've got the talent that he has, and there's nothing wrong with him physically, then why the hell am I leaving you out of a squad? There's got to be something. I want him to ask questions of me, ask questions of himself, and then. But I wanted to be clear with him. Look, this is what I need to see from you, and then because he did it when he came on Saturday against Wrexham. To be fair, had a part in the penalty. Took the ball in the halfway line, turned his marker around 40 yards down the line, turned back out. So he had a part to play in winning the penalty on Saturday. Tactically, he knows what we want. So, we can change an instruction, and he's really intelligent. He takes it on board and puts it into place. But his ability on the ball is probably one of the best in the squad. He's certainly the best at keeping a ball and not giving it away cheaply, and in really tight areas with a lot of pressure on him, he can get out of it. But I just wanted to be more proactive and more assertive and more aggressive in his play. Just go and show why you've played at a really good level and you've got the ability to get back there. But keeping it in your pocket where no one can see, what's the point of that? So I thought last night was a good start for him. I still think there's a couple of things he could have done better, but certainly what we asked him before the game, he produced, and he got his rewards from that. So hopefully that'll be motivation for him to go, well, actually, no, the game's there for me. I can get in this team. I can produce for the team. The other players know what a good player he is. So let's just get consistent with the output.
Yeah, you've just answered my next question there. Is that the challenge for Clark now, to do that consistently?
It's a challenge for every player. It's, in professional football, there are no bad professional football players. You're in the top 0.5% of anyone who's kicked a ball, in their childhood, in their school days, that maybe hope to be a footballer, but you've made it through. So you've overcome a lot of challenges and barriers to get there, right? But then staying there and being consistent, and the league season in England is, you're talking 50 games, just under. So, the worst saying in the world on their day, I hate it. And it can be put at players, on his day. Well, when's his day? Is it Thursday? Is it Monday? Or is it every match day? And that's what you have to be. Players have to learn that when the whistle goes, you have to produce. And listen, we know there's form that can fluctuate, but it should never be on motivation, physicality, your preparation, all that. That should always be consistent. So it's always a challenge for every player, I feel. But the ones that have good careers and have fulfilling careers are the ones that are consistent. They always have a little spike, good, but they never really drop below a certain mark. And I think certain players in certain positions, like Clark, he's a creative player, so you're not always going to create consistently. But if you fill in the gaps, tactically doing the right things, physically working well, you get more chances to be that creative force. So he's certainly got it all there in a package. You should go put it together in training and in games, but the games are the ones that are the most important.
You mentioned earlier about how well the team were out of possession last night, the discipline that they showed, and I was just looking at some of your standout performances since you've come in, Graham. Obviously last night included in that, but the win away at Gillingham, the win at Forest Green Rovers, to name but a few. And looking at the possession stats, it was the opposition that had more of the ball, yet in those games you've come away with all 3 points and with quite some heavy scorelines as well. Are you a team more suited without possession at the moment, or how would you assess that?
No, I think if you went through our games that we've drawn, where we've had miles more possession than the other team, I think first goals are really important in professional football. I think it changes the outlook of teams. Whereas looking through our data today, there's a drop off in certain areas when we get the fourth goal, and I've explained to the staff that's because the game's in our pocket and we don't have to do anything more. We have to just make sure that we manage this game, so we don't have to do the things we were doing in the first hour, and that shows a maturity and an intelligence about how to completely win a game. But if you're chasing, if someone comes to Valley Bray and goes 1-0 up early on, they're going to generally, what I've noticed, they'll sit back, they'll let us have the ball. then you've got 60% possession for 65, but there's no errors. So there's loads of things that are in place that dictate certain data that you get from a game. And I would say we've been in the lead in those games in particular, and sort of almost gone, right, the game's ours, make sure we control the rest of the game. And that for me is knowing how to win a game of football more often. So there's certain data that indicate whether you win or lose, or more often possession is generally one of the least marker points for winning and losing, to be fair.
And on that point of teams coming to Valley Parade and sitting back maybe, and we've seen that for years, teams coming to Valley Parade and executing that approach. Is that a challenge that might even be furthered somewhat this coming weekend when you come up against a team like Sutton who are fighting for their lives at the bottom of the table, and there will be that naturally expectation on your shoulders to try and get a result in that game?
Do you know what? I think you would maybe think that would be the norm, but we played Wimbledon here last week, and they were happy with the point, and they're in the playoffs, you know, and at the time we were 18th, but we're content with that. And you could see that they got to a point, and it was like we were still striving to do it, and we had the most possession and we had the most sort of momentum, but they were and they're a team that's in the playoffs or around the playoffs going for promotion, but they were content with a point here as well. So I wouldn't just put it at teams that are maybe at the lower end of the table. I think it's just a general thing. Valley Parade in League Two is, I wouldn't say a scalp, but it's a unique game. It's a standout game, and I think seeing a draw is a positive, I think, for most teams, and I would include myself in that in the past when I've come here.
Yeah,
I've always tried to win, and but ultimately I think I've drawn a couple and actually gone, lads, that might be a good point because of everything around it. So that's what we have to overcome as a team. We're trying to change a couple of things in our approach to home games to overcome that. You know what I mean? Because of after a certain period of time, we had a lot of draws, and I was like, right, okay, what's enabling these draws? How can we improve? What can we do? And we looked at everything. We tried to tweak a couple of things to see if that works. Let's see how the next 3 or 4, 5 games go to see if it bears fruit.
Do you feel that those things that you've changed, I'm sure you're not going to let us know what those are, but they've contributed maybe to at least what happened last night in the way that you got such a positive result at Valley Parade?
Yeah, I'd like to believe so, but I want to see a consistency. So, if we get numerous wins in the next 4 or 5 games or whatever at home, then I think we can say, well, actually, that might have worked. I think a one-off game, I don't think there's enough evidence there to suggest that it's all that. You know what I mean? But I do think it has helped little bits and pieces that we've tried to do without a doubt. But we need that consistent run of wins to verify it, I would say.
Yeah. Just in terms of anyone that might be coming back, and it might be a little early in the week to maybe address this, but I'll ask it anyway. In terms of, obviously, Lewis Richards was missing last night. Presumption there being that obviously he took quite a hefty blow to the face on Saturday. Yeah. Did that rule him out last night? Was that the case?
Yeah, it did. Yeah, his eye is pretty. I think he's only been able to see out of it really for maybe the last 24 hours. It did balloon, and he had a lot of swelling around it. So there's no way he would have been able to play the game last night. So it's come down though. In the last 24 hours, seen him again today. He's took part in a little bit of training just to get his legs going, but it's making sure he can see fully out of that eye before he comes into contention potentially for Saturday. So listen, fingers crossed, he's in good shape because he's been an important part of what we've done. But we have to make sure everyone's physically ready.
And just on Tyreek Wright's situation, how is he progressing? How close is he for you, Graham?
Yeah, he's been out on the grass, not particularly with us yet. So he's still taking his time with that. So we're hoping in the next 10 days or so that he'll be available for us. It'd be a great bonus for us, because obviously we've had him short period, maybe an hour since he's been here, which has been really disappointing and frustrating for us all, including Tyreek. But he's a really positive guy. When I've been speaking to him, he's desperate to get back. He's desperate to get on the pitch. That's what he's come here for. We'll give him every chance to be available as quick as possible. But we have to learn from him coming in. I put him in the team. He's come off with a little niggle. We have to sort of start again a little bit and make sure that we don't put him at that sort of risk again, because there's a lot of games that we need to play this season still. So we'll see how he progresses on his rehab.
And again, weekly question, I appreciate. Jamie Walker, what's the latest with him at the moment?
Yeah, Jamie's feeling a lot better in himself. I think he had a scan maybe a week ago, 10 days, and it was a really positive one. So I think that's worked wonders for his sort of outlook on the discomfort he was feeling. So he's not been out on the grass with us, but he's certainly picked up his training and his workload and everything. So since I spoke maybe 10 days ago, his sort of rehab his return to training and playing has increased and started to pick up speed again. So fingers crossed he comes back into it, because last night was fantastic and so was Saturday, but we want as many good players around us as possible, and Jamie Walker and Tyreek Wright are real good creative players for us, and but we're obviously missing them at the moment.
And obviously a player that had such an influence last night in your captain, Richie Smallwood, now won't be with you for the next 2 league games. I think I'm right in saying. How much of a conundrum does that leave you with, Graham?
Well, we've got players that have, he didn't play in the cup, I don't think, last round, and we won that game. So we know we've got players who can come into the team. Richie's a really big, important player for us. I think we all see that, what he does. A lot of uncharted work that he gets through for his teammates and everything, and his influence on the team is really important for us. But we're not a one-man band. We have to make sure that we've got a group of players that whatever happens to us, we're ready to compete in the next game. So I always see this for other players, and this is why we work the players a certain way, so when they're ready for these opportunities, because they can come along at the drop of a hat, you've got to be ready for it. And if you take it, I think I've shown the players in the last couple of months, if you take it, you stay in the team. And so that's the challenge and the opportunity for somebody else.
And just a final one from me, a name that we've not mentioned for quite a long while actually, but Dan Oyegoke. Is there any update on him at all returning anytime soon? Yeah, I spoke to Dan on Friday. I gave him a call just to touch base and see how he was doing. He was really positive. He's got a scan, I think, maybe today, I think, down there. We have to wait for Brentford to contact us, because they obviously read it. He's their player, and they'll judge where he is on his rehabilitation. But he was really positive about what he's done work wise, how he feels fitness wise. He can't wait to come back and be a part of the squad again. So but I think we have to wait for Brentford to contact us this week to see how that scan went. But in himself, he's feeling really good, and he said his rehab's gone really well and he's feeling fit. So it'll be another great addition for us when he comes back. Thanks, Graham. Best of luck Saturday.
Thanks, Jamie. Cheers.
Hi, Graham.
Hi, Tom.
Obviously the win last night, getting that next league home win. I mean, you've got a run of, I think, 5 out of 6 these games, isn't it, at Valley Parade? I mean, putting down that marker, that must have been, very important as well, as much as the performance, but the winning result.
I think it was getting a monkey off our back, to be honest, rather than a marker. I think it was like, that burden of not winning for so long at Valley Parade was it was frustrating for us all. So we wanted to get off, whichever way we could do it, to win 4-0 against a very good team in the playoff positions was, validation for the players' work and their motivation, how they went about their game. But each game is different. They're all challenging. They're all difficult. So we just got to focus on the next one. But listen, we we know confidence is one of those things that is really hard to gauge. But certainly when you pick up positive results, it goes without saying that you feel better about yourself, you feel better about your work. I think it improves your motivation to maybe work even harder, because you want to keep that feeling. Everyone feels great after a win. The supporters, the staff, the players families, the staff's families. It goes through. Listen, that's what it means to us all. So that's our motivation to keep trying to win, to make everyone happy.
As you say, mate, you mentioned the supporters and the confidence there. I mean, off the field, the mood when people walk in the ground on Saturday will be probably a bit lighter than perhaps it was going in on Tuesday night, in the sense of, they've seen a good home win. Not, as you said before, 99% of the supporters watch home games. Yeah. And they've sort of seen their team play well. They've seen them get the result. As you say, got that momentum back again. And, the general mood just lifts before kick-off, doesn't it?
It does, yeah. But then as soon as the referee blows his whistle, there's a responsibility on us to keep that mood high and to encourage them to stay positive. So, the sort of responsibility is passed on to us when the whistle goes for the game. But yeah, we want people coming in with a spring in their step, coming into Valley Parade, looking forward to the game, looking forward to seeing their team compete and hopefully win. That's what we want to try and create, that emotion when you come into the stadium. Listen, we know we haven't hit the heights at home. I think there's been a lot of good stuff that we've done over the last 3 months, but generally a lot of it's been away. And hopefully Tuesday was a marker of what we can achieve when we do things in the right way and not give ourselves mountains to climb early on. And so yeah, look, everyone talks about it's not just us that talks about the crowd at Valley Parade. It's away teams, it's away managers. Everyone talks about it because it's there and it's very loud and passionate. So we want to keep it like that, but with a smile on the faces. And it's not what they come into the stadium with; it's what they leave with. To be honest, It's leaving with smiles. That's what we want.
Yeah, but as you say, the way the fixtures list falls with the bulk of the games now being at home, it can, if you can get that momentum going, can keep those results up. People all sort of, it becomes a bit of a sort of snowball effect, doesn't it?
It does, yeah, it does. Listen, winning does that, and what we're trying to do is create a team that can go anywhere, and win a game of football, and be positive. Look, no one would have given us any hope at Wrexham, and we win. No one would have given us hope at Derby, and we win. These are really difficult, tough venues, tough opponents, and we've overcome that. I just think it's maybe a different type of feeling in a home game. So we have to adjust our sails to what we face at home, because it is different away from home. So home and away, we have to, and maybe I'm guilty of this, I want us to be consistent, and that's home and away, play the same way, do that. But I think I have to maybe adapt a little bit for our home games, because certainly the opposition adapt to come and play at Valley Parade. So that's something that we have to get to the bottom of. I think we've made inroads into that, like I said. But if we do that, I think Valley Parade will be a weapon for us, and that's what we want it to become.
And you mentioned earlier, obviously, we're talking about how Sam Walker's come in. The defence have kept, 4 clean sheets in all competitions now. I mean, are you impressed by how quickly the group and the goalkeeper have just built that understanding? Because obviously, they're used to having one keeper, occasionally Colin Doyle, but it's been pretty much the same from day one. Yeah,
I think apart from these last 2 games, I don't think Sam's had that much to do, to be fair, in games. So it's not like he's had to pull out loads of saves or he's let in 3 or 4 easy goals. It's just not. We've defended really well as a team and not given him anything to do really per se. But I think the last 2 games he's been tested. Certainly in the Wrexham game, and he showed what a good goalkeeper is. I think it gives the players in front of him. I'm a big believer in the goalkeeper can have an effect on the confidence and the composure of the team in front of him, and I think Sam has that sort of stature and composure to impact the team in a positive way. So, the players don't know him that well, but I think they know him quite well after the last 2 games, and I think listen, they pride themselves on clean sheets, goalkeepers, defenders, this, that, the other. We want them to feel like that. We want them patting themselves on the back and getting together in a huddle if they do. We like that togetherness. But Sam's quite an easy guy to get on. He's experienced. He's a mature guy, so he's just slipped into it really well. And what he's done is we kept it all quite basic to begin with, but as we progress, we've given him a few more instructions, a few bit more detail, and he's just took to it straight away. So we're delighted with what we've seen so far.
I was going to say, as a manager, when you bring in a goalkeeper mid-season, it's such a key position, and it's such a sort of focal point of the team. And I suppose there's always that, I wouldn't say risk, but there's always that hope that things, gel quickly, because obviously otherwise it could be a bit of an initiation process, can't it?
Yeah, because it's quite a unique position. It's not just it's just not a general position. It's really specific. It's really unique. So there's a lot of thought and concentration goes into it, and you can't really make too many mistakes as a recruitment plan with a goalkeeper. There was a manager picking them, so usually you get them in the summer and you work with them pre-season, you iron out any things, but coming in mid-season is can be difficult. But I do think he was coming into a team that was structured really well and was defensively strong anyway, which gave him a few games to build into it before he had to have those 2 busy games. So I think we're not talking about a 21-year-old here with 5 games under his belt. He's in his 30s. He's been around. He's come in, made himself part of the team straight away. Off the pitch, and I think it's helped his performances on it.
Which is right. Thank you.
Okay, mate.
I agree. I've only got a few. I was just sort of wondering, when you won a few games, manager, it's your job to keep on top of things, keep focused, that sort of thing. And I suppose the thing is, like your senior players as well, just doing that on match days and doing it every day in training. And are you sort of big on that, like the core group of leaders, that sort of thing? Yeah,
100%. We talk to the players often about certain things, about decisions we want to make for the squad. I'll pull 3 or 4 players together and discuss it with them first, because we want them to buy into it. It's not just I make decisions and it's my responsibility to make decisions, but I want them part of the process, and we want them to have an environment where they feel they can win with. It's not just having a comfortable life. It's like, does this help us win? We think it could. What do you think? And then we discuss it. So ultimately, obviously, I'll make the decisions, but I want them to be part of it. And because I know in the heat of a battle, like it was last night, like it was on Saturday, these senior players need to know they have my responsibility to go on and do things and speak to the players, and I trust them to do it. So, but it's not just match days. I have to do it day in, day out, week in, week out, for them to build up that sort of knowledge that I'm expecting them to do that. I believe in that. I was entrusted that in myself as a player, and I felt it was a really good, rewarding responsibility to have. I want my players, certain players, to have that as well.
Yeah, because when like Bradford City, a couple of good results, a couple of bad results, emotions are magnified, and there's sort of different sorts of pressure, isn't there, really? And it's all part of the gig, isn't it, really?
Yeah, and look, listen, management's a tough job, and I can't do it on my own. I need my staff around me. Sure. I need my senior players. I need my captain, my vice captain. That we all have to help each other. There'll be time. I'm here to help them on a day-to-day basis, but I'm not naive enough to know to think that I don't need them from time to time as well. You know what I mean? To help me in creating a winning team. So I'll let them know that. I'll let them know that they're part of the process. That I value their opinions. I value their professionalism, their experience. I believe they're as motivated as me to create a winning team. So let's work together.
Yeah, I was just going to ask you finally about Tyler Smith. He's a little bit of a sticky one to form. It looks like he could probably do with a little bit of a catalyst, but I suppose it's one of those. He's continuing to work hard, show the right sort of attitude, and it'll come, that sort of thing. Yeah,
look, it's whenever I pick a team, I know I'm leaving good players out of it. I know that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I don't say I've got 11 good players and these are poor. I know I've got more than 11 good players. So and you do feel like you're rejecting them every time you name a team. You know, that's how it feels to you as a manager. But you know, hopefully they'll see that we've had more than 11 players playing in our wins. It's always been a group ethic. All I want is that positivity, that respect for their teammates. Like I say, it's not just like you. It's that's a good player that's playing in front of me. I have to just reach the levels. But Tyler's done a great job for us when he was in the team. I thought he was part of the team sort of just slowing up, and I just want, as I did with Cookie last week, I just wanted to give him a reset and a refresh. So I'm sure he'll have his opportunities again, and I'll expect him to take him because he's a good player.